with a TT cockpit with aero extensions. This lets you change your riding position and allows you to be comfortable. Coalax Lancer 300. Hey you, photographer on the go. Are you taking stills or making a video? No matter where you are on the remote desert or on a mountain that's far away, you'll never be out of power or have to dread with the Coalax Lancer 300. Wow, I just rhymed. But seriously, the Coalax Lancer 300 is an exoskeleton modular camera backpack that has an extendable tripod and a detachable power station. The power station has 300 watts, which lets you charge a drone 6 times over, and a camera up to 15 times. The power station comes with a solar panel, so you can charge it on the go. Air scooter. Why drive when you can fly through the sky in your own personal air scooter that will take you where you want to go, and you don't need a pilot license either. The air scooter is the ultimate hybrid electric aircraft, and the best part of it, you can start flying after a short training lesson. It's so easy to operate, you don't need any complicated landing pads either. The air scooter is nice and tight, so you can park in a regular parking space. You can cruise at speeds of 80 kilometers per hour with a top speed of 100 kilometers. The payload can handle up to 120 kilos, and the flight time is just a little greater than 2 hours. In the Zapata Training Center, you can fly a simulator to give you a taste of what it's like. Moki. You love your car. Sure, it's an outdated gas guzzler and not a fancy EV, but it's your car. But you hate your car keys, always losing them and never where they should be. Let's take that old bag of bolts into the future with the new Moki. It's a car key now in your phone. You can share your car keys remotely so friends don't accidentally leave them in their pocket when they borrow your vehicle. Moki works with over 100 types of vehicles, and you can change permission and access sharing rules. Moki can automatically open your car door based on proximity, and it uses Bluetooth 5.0. Oppo AirGlass 3. If you haven't heard of AI, then this channel probably isn't for you. We're all about the latest tech, and nothing says the future of tech more than AR glasses. But what about AR glasses that integrate with AI? Well, that's what Oppo has done with their latest AirGlass 3. These glasses are integrated with Andy's GPT model and directly connect to a smartphone, but that's just the tip of the glasses. You have hybrid vision sensing technology baked into these glasses that gives you incredible image deblurring and incredibly high frame rates for ultra slow motion video in the glasses. You have both voice and visual AI commands through the extended reality. Circle Ring. Let's turn those sausage links you call fingers into something smart with a ring, but not just any ring. This is one ring to rule them all. You know what we're showing. It's the Circle Ring, and it tracks your health every second of the day. What sort of tracking does it do? Great question. It gives you detailed sleep information, exercise tracking, HRV heart rate. It even tracks your stress and energy and constantly monitors your blood pressure. But don't worry about ring size, these are adaptive so the fit can be adjusted. It's super comfortable so you can have it on all day and night, and it won't bug you as some other rings might. Optimus Gen 2 actives constant tracking, does but not voice and visual frame rates baked into these glasses, but that's are integrated with more probably isn't for you. We're all about the latest tech, and nothing says the future of tech more than AR glass. Tesla is bringing out their newest arm in robotics. This is the Tesla Optimus Gen 2, a prototype robot that precisely and delicately manipulates objects. This is the future of cyber robotics, just like the Terminator predicted back in '92. It has 2 DOF actuated necks and 11 DOF hands that have tactile sensors on them. It can perform delicate tasks with care just like humans. The Optimus is designed to work alongside humans. It's a friendly, collaborative robot. The Optimus is designed for the manufacturing sector, where delicate human hands are needed, and also for the healthcare industry, where robotic surgeons can cut and slice with precision. Current logistic operations can also benefit from the Optimus Gen 2, where human pickers and sorters are replaced by our friendly robotic friends who work for nothing more than a good battery charge. MDT-1. Fat tires on a fat e-scooter sound like an off-roader's dream, and it's a heck of a fun ride. I'm talking about the MDT-1, and if you love off-roading and scooting, then this is the perfect ride for you. The MDT-1 has a 62-mile range, so you can get lost in the outdoors and have enough range to find your way back home. It has a 30-mile top speed, so you can really get some speed, and it handles even the heaviest rider with its weight handling capability of 350 pounds. MDT1 can climb up to 45 degrees and has a smart adjustable display panel that shows you everything you need at your fingertips. You have a fully modular lighting system, so you can customize the way you light up.
Hey, go ahead and light up, y'all. Light it up, baby. Hey. Oh, we seen this one. I'm not watching, but y'all watch. That was totally. Let's see some life hacks. Make a broom out of that. Ottoman out of that.
It's 9:15. How am I already underwater?
I'm in the same boat.
I'm in an actual boat.
I thought Grammarly just fixed grammar. They make boats now?
It's more of a metaphorical boat, because I've been using Grammarly's AI for years to keep me high and dry. Try it. Grammarly can look through your writing to make it easier to understand. See? Shorter,
Whoa,
clearer,
cool.
and better. Now people will get what you're trying to say, and you won't be flooded with confused emails.
Can you do mine?
No problem. Your writing's good, but your word choices could be better.
Wow.
Now your writing is as confident as you are.
Oh, well, what about our proposal?
Let me take a look. Woof, you'll be in deep water if you show this to the CEO. Grammarly can point out what's missing. Right there. The CEO will want to see a deadline. And here you should connect the projections back to company strategy.
Yeah, how could I do that? Mia, can you do a deep dive?
On it. 10% higher revenue by next year.
I'm sending it in.
Hey, I need that. Dan F, man, sitting here playing with my boy Trent. Yay! You know what time it is. So, we in here for another Healthy Mental Thursday. We gonna jump right into this motivation, so we ain't gonna hold y'all back no longer. Mic died. Sorry about that. All right, we back. Let me see if I can find my. There you go. Let's go. We back on here. Oh, 2-0. All right, man. I ain't trying to wait. All right, let me get this motivation pulled up for y'all, and we're gonna get this day off started off right.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm here to talk to you about something simple yet profoundly powerful. Something that can change your life if you apply it consistently with unwavering belief. This isn't a quick fix or a magic pill, it's a mindset, a way of thinking, a way of being, a way of speaking to yourself that will unlock doors you didn't even know were there. The words we speak to ourselves each day, those seemingly small, almost invisible thoughts, are the very fabric of our future. Today, I'm going to share with you 9 things that you must tell yourself every single day. Not once, not twice, but every day. Because the quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, and the thoughts you choose to repeat over and over become your reality. First and foremost, you must remind yourself that you are the master of your destiny. Not the circumstances, not the economy, not the people around you. You are the creator of your life, the author of your story. When you wake up in the morning, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I am in charge here. My decisions, my actions, my choices, this is what shapes my future. We live in a world that often tries to tell us that we are at the mercy of circumstances, that we're victims of fate, that the odds are stacked against us. But let me tell you something. The moment you accept that you are in control of your destiny, your life begins to shift. That's not some empty motivational phrase. It's the truth. You can create the life you want if you take full ownership of it. Think about how many times have you felt like you were drifting, like life was happening to you, like you were simply going through the motions. That's the effect of giving away your power. But when you decide right now that you are the one in charge, everything changes. You stop letting life happen to you and you start making life happen for you. The next thing you must tell yourself every day is, I am worthy of success and happiness. Listen to me carefully. No matter what you've been told, no matter the limiting beliefs that have been drilled into your mind over the years, you are worthy. Worthy of love, worthy of success, worthy of abundance, worthy of joy. Too many people walk through life with this invisible weight on their shoulders, a belief that they are somehow not good enough, not deserving enough, not capable enough to have the life they dream of. But I'm telling you right now, those thoughts are lies. Every single person on this planet is worthy of having everything they want in life, but it starts with you. It starts with you choosing to believe in your worth. I know there are moments when doubts creep in. You look at others and wonder, why them? Why not me? But that comparison game will never serve you. Instead, let me remind you of something. You are a unique creation. There's no one else like you. No one else can bring to the table what you bring, your voice, your talents, your heart. These are the gifts you offer to the world, and they are invaluable. You are worthy, and you have every right to live the life you dream of. The next thing to tell yourself every day is, I am capable of overcoming any obstacle. Life is going to throw challenges at you. That's a given. There will be setbacks, roadblocks, detours, things that will try to knock you off your path. But guess what? There is no obstacle that is too great for you to overcome. Not one. You've already overcome obstacles in your life, haven't you? Think about the times you faced adversity and come out the other side, stronger, wiser, more resilient. You've done it before and you can do it again. The only difference between people who succeed and those who don't is the mindset. People who succeed refuse to accept defeat. They don't let obstacles define them. They look at every challenge as an opportunity to grow, to evolve, to expand. When you wake up in the morning, remind yourself, I have the strength, the resilience, and the intelligence to navigate whatever comes my way. I am unstoppable. No matter how tough things get, I will find a way, I will rise above it, because inside of you, refusal to give up. And that, my friends, is invincible. Another thing you need to tell yourself every day is, I am constantly growing and improving. Life is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, step by step, day by day. If you want to live a life of excellence, you have to embrace the process of growth. You have to be willing to push beyond your comfort zone, to stretch yourself in ways that may feel uncomfortable at times. But here's the secret. Growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens when you challenge yourself, when you push past your limits, when you decide that you won't settle for mediocrity. Every day, ask yourself, how can I get better today? Whether it's learning a new skill, improving your relationships, or developing your mindset, focus on continuous growth. Because when you commit to growth, you'll find that the world opens up to you in ways you never imagined. Imagine for a moment, 365 days from now, if you commit every single day to becoming just a little bit better than you were yesterday. That's how transformation happens. Incremental growth leads to monumental results. So tell yourself every day, I am constantly growing, learning, and improving. The next thing you must tell yourself is, I am in control of my emotions. Now, this is a big one. We live in a world where emotions can often feel like they're controlling us. One moment you're on top of the world, and the next moment you feel like you've hit rock bottom. The roller coaster of emotions can leave you feeling helpless and out of control. But here's the truth. Your emotions do not have to control you. You are the master of your emotions, not the other way around. Just like with your thoughts, you have the power to choose how you respond to situations. You can choose peace over anger, calm over anxiety, joy over frustration. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about mastering them. Understanding that emotions are just signals. They're not permanent states, and they don't have to dictate your actions. Let me give you a powerful example. There's a story of a man who was facing one of the toughest periods of his life. Everything was falling apart. His business, his relationships, his health. And yet every morning he would wake up and say to himself, I am in control of my emotions. I will not allow fear, frustration, or anger to dictate my actions today. And every day he chose peace. He chose clarity. And over time, his ability to control his emotional state became his greatest asset. He didn't let circumstances dictate how he felt. He took charge. 6, I am deserving of love and connection. 7, if I ask the question, what do I deserve right now in my life? 8, I've come to a place of peace and connection. Another truth you must tell yourself every day is, I am deserving of love and connection. Too many people struggle with feelings of loneliness and isolation. They think they have to go through life alone. But you are not alone, and you never have to be. You are deserving of love. Love from others, and more importantly, love for yourself. Self-love isn't just about pampering yourself or giving yourself a break when you're overwhelmed. It's about accepting yourself fully. It's about recognizing your value and treating yourself with kindness and respect. When you love yourself, you are in a position to give love to others, to build meaningful connections that uplift you and those around you. And let's not forget, people want to connect with you. People are drawn to those who radiate self-love and confidence. When you remind yourself every day that you are worthy of love and connection, you start to attract the people and relationships that align with that belief. You become a magnet for positive, supportive, and meaningful connections. Now, every day, remind yourself, I am grateful for the abundance in my life. Yes, gratitude is one of the most powerful forces in the universe. The more you focus on what you have, the more you'll attract into your life, the more you appreciate the blessings, big and small, the more those blessings will multiply. It's so easy to get caught up in what you don't have, to focus on what's missing in your life. But the truth is, there is always something to be grateful for. Even in the darkest moments, there is light if you choose to see it. Gratitude shifts your perspective, helps you appreciate the present moment, and brings more of what you want into your life. So every day, take a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for. It might be your health, your family, your work, or even something as simple as a beautiful sunset. When you cultivate a mindset of gratitude, you begin to see the world through a lens of abundance. And abundance is magnetizing. What you focus on expands, and gratitude opens the floodgates to all the good that's already on its way to you. Every day, tell yourself, I am committed to my dreams and goals. This one is simple, but powerful. You have dreams, you have goals. Don't let them fade into the background of your life. You must commit to them every single day, even when the road gets tough, even when you face obstacles, even when things don't seem to be moving as quickly as you'd like. Commit to your vision. Stay focused on your goals and remind yourself why you started in the first place. The road to success is rarely a straight path. There are twists and turns, unexpected detours and setbacks. But if you're truly committed to your dreams, nothing will stop you. You'll find a way, you'll keep moving forward, even when it's difficult, because your dreams are worth it. And the commitment you make to them today will determine the person you become tomorrow. Finally, tell yourself, I am at peace with my past and excited for my future. Your past does not define you. The mistakes, the failures, the regrets, they are not who you are. They are simply lessons that have shaped you into the person you are today. Let go of any baggage. It's time to move forward with peace. And as you release the past, open yourself to the limitless possibilities of the future. Your future is bright. It is full of opportunity. It is waiting for you to step into it with excitement and anticipation. Your best days are ahead of you, not behind you. So let go of the past and embrace the future with open arms. The life you've always dreamed of is just on the horizon. I want you to understand this. These 9 things you tell yourself every day aren't just words. They're your personal roadmap to the life you deserve. They are the foundation upon which you will build your future. And it all starts with you, your words, your thoughts, your beliefs. When you make the decision to live by these 9 truths, everything in your life will begin to shift. You will become unstoppable, and you will become a force of nature. And you will create the life you've always dreamed of. You've got this. Now go make it happen.
Yes, sir.
You know, as you continue on this journey, this path toward your fullest potential, it's important to remember that life is dynamic. You're not a finished product. You're not static. Each day is a chance to evolve, to step closer to the person you were always meant to be. It's a reminder that growth doesn't happen in a straight line, but in the daily decisions you make, in the small moments of resilience, in the commitment you show to yourself and your vision. You've heard these 9 things now, but I want you to understand something deeply, something that may challenge your thinking. Your life will not change because of the motivational words you speak to yourself in the morning. Your life will change.
It will chop. Okay. That was cool. I hope y'all got something out of that video. I did. Let me try to score real quick. Thursday. And today, let me look back at the topic. Make sure I'm quoting it right. We exploring. No, we not. That ain't what they're supposed to say. We still in the middle of this game. Sorry, fellas. This is the part where I get distracted. Because now I got to make sure I got the right title. Do that. Sorry. I could let y'all see the game. Either way, whatever the topic is for the day, I hope that y'all having a great day. Yesterday was the first day of track practice, track season this year. Get your kids out there, get them motivated to actually be in shape and take care of themselves. All right, so today we getting healthy. Hey, and look how we brought it all around. We getting healthy, whether that be mentally healthy, physically healthy, or whatever, whichever one. Good D. All right, how to get mentally healthy. Go. Let's go. Oh, I knew Psych to go. We'll have it.
Oh, hey, how's it going? I'm pen and paper guy.
And I'm motion.
Well, I have a system. You see, I put my to-do list oh, wait a minute. I put my to-do list here, and then my
Yeah, and meanwhile, I just brain dump everything into one place and let the AI tell me when I need to do each task.
Well, what about...
Hey, Psych-goers, welcome back to our channel. It's
y'all listen
your
up.
outpour of love and support that drives this channel's mission to spread awareness about mental health and psychology. You help us make psychology and mental health more accessible to everyone, so thanks for that. Now, let's begin the video. Do you sense your mental health is declining? Are you not feeling as cheery or motivated as you once were? Well, to help you improve your mental health to be the best it can be, we're in this together. Number 1. Make yourself a priority. Are you often too busy or too tired to relax and do something you actually enjoy? You may be studying or working too hard, or perhaps you don't stop and take notice of what your body needs. Have you had a calm moment to simply breathe and wind down? Did you eat too little today? Did you get enough water? You didn't, did you? You sneaky little psych-to-goer. You may not care about yourself enough to get a good 8 glasses a day, but research has shown that what we eat affects not only our mood, but how we think as well. And if you don't eat enough, odds are you aren't gonna feel great. Exercise and enough sleep are also vital to our health. So if you're watching this late at night on your phone, hear these tips and then call it a night. Your mental health will thank you tomorrow, I promise. Number 2, create positive thoughts.
Hey,
Are
that
you
only happened
aware of
'cause
your
I'm lagging.
thoughts? You
We
may
still
say,
put in that
of
work.
course I know what I'm thinking. But less often do we actually stop to consider what it is we're thinking,
I
what
had to
we're saying
reset
to
my
ourselves,
PlayStation.
and if it's something we'd say to others. Think about it. Are your thoughts more often positive? The average human has around 6,200 thoughts per day. In another study published in the National Science Foundation, it was found that of the thousands of thoughts each individual has per day, 80% were negative, and 95% were the exact same repetitive thoughts as the
As the
previous day. So we repeat a lot of negative thoughts. But this next study will really put things into perspective for you. In another study from Cornell University, scientists found that 85% of what we worry about never happens.
Right.
Not only that, 79% of the subjects found that either they could handle the difficulty better than they thought, or that the difficulty taught them a lesson they felt was worth it. So this is my advice to you. Stop, breathe, and think about what you're thinking about. Is it positive? Is it healthy? More importantly, is it something you would say to a friend who is worried too and looking for comfort? It's always best to treat ourselves like our best friend. Be there to comfort yourself with positive thoughts. And when in doubt with a worry, try to ask yourself, is this worry productive? Am I making this more difficult than it has to be? Number 3, say what you feel. Guess what? There's a writer here inside your screen, and she's writing to tell you it's late and she's tired. But she's feeling better now, and she wanted me to let you know. She's keying you into a little psychology secret. Expressing how you feel makes you feel better. A brain imaging study by psychologists at UCLA revealed that verbalizing our feelings makes our sadness, anger, and pain less intense. When we see a photograph of a fearful or angry face, we have increased activity in a region of our brain called the amygdala. This serves as a warning of danger in our brain. In the study, researchers used functional magnetic resonance imaging to study subjects' brain activity. Researchers had 30 subjects view photos of individuals making different emotional expressions. Below each photo were the words angry or fearful. Subjects then had to choose which word to assign to each face. Some subjects were instead given 2 names below the photo, Harry and Sally, and had to assign gender-appropriate names to the photos. Researchers found a decreased response in the amygdala when the words angry and fearful were expressed by assigning them. They did not see the reduction in the amygdala response when using the words Harry and Sally. Meaning, if you put your feelings into words, you feel better. While the amygdala was less active when subjects labeled a feeling, the right ventrolateral prefrontal cortex was more active. And it makes sense why this region of the brain has been associated with thinking in words about emotional experiences. So if you want to better your mental health, try talking to a friend or psychologist about your feelings, or write them in a journal. Just the act of writing in words about how you feel can have positive and powerful effects. Number 4, be compassionate to others. A little compassion can go a long way. Wouldn't you want someone to show you a little love and kindness?
Hey,
And I
Trent.
bet
Yes,
when you treat someone with
sir. First
kindness
time
or do someone a favor,
chatter.
you often feel a little
Trayshawn
bit better too, don't you?
2392. Appreciate
Well,
you for the
there's
chat.
research to support this. According to research from psychologists
We work on
Ed
this, y'all.
Diener and Martin Seligman, altruism can lead to improved mental and physical health, as well as speed up recovery from disease. In brain imaging research from Naomi Eisenberg report, donate to a charity, or volunteer with an organization you care about. I'm sure they'd love the support as much as you. After all, what a better way to lift yourself up than to lift someone else's spirits up in the process. So, will you use these tips? Did you find them helpful?
On mental health. Let's see what that bring up for us.
Think of your brain as the powerhouse that controls every action and reaction in your body.
I like
Our
that.
ability to live our lives depends largely on whether it is able to operate at full capacity. So when the machine malfunctions, the fastest way to find out what's wrong is to look under the hood. Certain parts of the brain affect mental health. One of them is the amygdala. It regulates emotions such as anger, pleasure, and fear. It's what triggers your fight or flight response. The hippocampus is the memory bank. It stores and records facts and events throughout your life. It bookmarks specific events that trigger strong emotions, and the hippocampus keeps them as long-term memories. It's why you vividly remember the anxiety of your first day in kindergarten, or the joy of getting your first ever pet. Studies have found that these two parts were smaller in people with depression. And while the healthy brain shows normal activity, scans reveal reduced activity in a depressed brain. Scientists believe that the severe stress that people with depression go through disrupts the communication between brain cells. The brain has approximately 86 billion messengers called neurons. They talk to each other. It's believed that several mental illnesses stem from miscommunication between neurons. For example, the feel-good chemical of dopamine gives you a sense of pleasure. It helps keep you interested and allows you to focus and plan. But too much of it can lead to addiction. Unstable amounts are linked to schizophrenia and ADHD. Low levels of the chemical serotonin are associated. Things aren't quite this cut and dry. There is no single cause of mental illness. It could be a combination of life experiences, family history, or chemical imbalances in the brain. So understanding the circuitry may be the key to understanding mental health.
Yes, sir. All right, let's get us another one.
How do you know when it's time to end a relationship or when to really fight for it to see if there's something there?
I don't.
The current standard of care for the treatment of depression is based on what we call the monoamine deficiency hypothesis, essentially presuming that one of 3 neurotransmitters in the brain is deficient or underactive.
Neurotransmitters can be thought of as the chemical messengers within the brain. It's what helps one cell in the brain communicate with another to pass that message along.
But the reality is there are more than 100 neurotransmitters in the brain and billions of connections between neurons. So we know that that's a limited hypothesis.
For decades, we thought that the primary pathology, the primary cause of depression, was some abnormality in these neurotransmitters, specifically serotonin or norepinephrine.
However, norepinephrine and serotonin did not seem to be able to account for the symptoms of depression in people who had major depression. Regulating mood and emotion, which include glutamate and GABA, were possibilities as alternative brain actually regulate how the brain is changing over time and adapting. When you are exposed to severe and chronic stress, like people experience when they have depression, you lose some of the connections between the nerve cells, and the communication in these circuits becomes inefficient and noisy. Because of the noisy communication in the circuits involved in regulating mood and emotion, we think that the loss of these synaptic connections contributes to the biology of depression.
No, we're not letting that happen. No way. Lag or no lag.
It's critical to understand the neurobiology of depression and how the brain plays a role in that for 2 main reasons. One, it helps us understand how the disease develops and progresses, and we can start to target treatments based on that.
There are clear differences between a healthy brain and a depressed brain. And the exciting thing is, when you treat that depression effectively, the brain goes back to looking like a healthy brain.
We recognize that the treatment for depression is a long-term, so we need new treatments. We've needed new ways to approach depression for people that haven't responded well to their prior treatments.
We are in a new era of psychiatry. This is a paradigm shift, a way of understanding of the brain as a complex neurochemical organ.
I can't do it when it's lagging, man. Thanks, Yale Medicine. I enjoyed that.
Think about a child you love. Now take away their clean clothes, access to water.
Told you that the key to unlocking your brain's full potential lies in understanding neuroplasticity. In today's video, we'll explore how you can rewire your brain, enhancing your mental resilience and overall well-being.
Hey man, I gotta restart.
I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, a psychiatrist, and I help strengthen your mind and fortify your brain to build resilience. When you grasp how neuroplasticity works, you'll realize that change isn't just possible, it's within your control. And today is a deep dive on neuroplasticity. What is neuroplasticity? Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout your life. Think of it this way. Imagine you're walking through a forest and you take the same path every day. Over time, that path becomes more defined and easier to follow. Similarly, when you repeat certain thoughts or behaviors, you create well-worn pathways in your brain. The exciting part is you're not stuck with those pathways. Neuroplasticity means that you can always create new paths, and this ability is necessary for learning, personal growth, and building resilience. It's not just about recovering from brain injuries. It's about shaping your mind to adapt and thrive in the face of life's challenges. For decades, scientists believed that the brain structure was fixed after childhood, but functional imaging has advanced, and newer research has shown that our brains continue to change and adapt well into adulthood. This shift from a fixed brain to a plastic brain model has revolutionized our understanding of brain function and mental health. There are two types of neuroplasticity: structural plasticity, and this involves changes to the brain's physical structure, such as the growth of new neurons or the formation of new synapses. And then there's functional plasticity, and this refers to the brain's ability to move functions from a damaged area to other undamaged areas. Neuroplasticity gives you the power to influence your brain structure and function through your experiences and behaviors. Neuroplasticity does work both ways. So negative thinking and behaviors also reinforce certain pathways in the brain. However, once you start replacing those negative habits with positive ones, the new pathways begin to take over, helping you become more mentally strong and adaptable. To understand how neuroplasticity works, let's look at the basics of brain structure. Your brain consists of billions of neurons, which are the cells responsible for processing and transmitting information. These neurons, or nerve cells, communicate with each other through connections called synapses. When you learn something new or have a novel experience, your neurons form new connections or strengthen existing ones. And this process is called synaptic plasticity. The more you repeat an action or thought, several key brain regions are involved in neuroplasticity. The hippocampus, which is important for memory formation and spatial orientation, which is the ability for you to be able to tell how your body's positioned in space. Then there's the amygdala, which is involved in emotional processing and fear responses. And then the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for higher order thinking and decision making. And these areas work together to process new information, form new memories, and adapt to changing environments. So that's how neuroplasticity works. Here's why it's important for building mental strength and resilience. It impacts four main areas of functioning. First, adaptability. Neuroplasticity allows your brain to adapt to new situations and challenges, and this flexibility is the basis for being able to navigate the ups and downs and develop resilience. Second is learning and memory. When you have new experiences and form new neural connections, you're able to learn new skills and retain information. Being able to learn boosts your confidence and problem-solving abilities, so you can, in fact, teach an old dog new tricks. The third impact of neuroplasticity is overcoming negative patterns. Neuroplasticity empowers you to change negative thought patterns and behaviors. You can consciously and intentionally create new
powerful writing.
Healing. Neuroplasticity plays a vital role in recovery from brain injuries and managing mental health conditions. It offers hope for healing and improving even in challenging circumstances. Several factors can impact your brain's plasticity. There's your age. Even though neuroplasticity occurs throughout life, it tends to be more pronounced in younger brains. That said, even older adults can benefit from activities that promote plasticity. A rich, stimulating environment promotes neuroplasticity. This includes engaging in new experiences, learning new skills, and exposing yourself to diverse sensory inputs. The interplay between neuroplasticity and sensory input is one of the reasons hearing loss, vision loss, and social isolation are so harmful to your mental functions. And then there's lifestyle factors. Sleep, nutrition, and exercise all play critical roles in supporting neuroplasticity. Quality sleep helps consolidate memories. A balanced diet with minimal processed foods provides nutrients for brain health, and regular exercise increases blood flow to the brain and promotes the growth of new neurons. Okay, so that's a lot on neuroplasticity. Now let's look at some practical strategies to harness the power of neuroplasticity and build. Challenging your brain with new activities stimulates the formation of new neural connections. And this could be learning something like amusement and mindfulness. Metacognition is thinking about thinking. It's a powerful tool for enhancing neuroplasticity and building mental strength. It involves becoming aware of your thought processes and learning to regulate them effectively. Here's how you can practice metacognition. One is self-reflection. Regularly take time to examine your thoughts and reactions. Ask yourself, why did I respond that way? Or what assumptions am I making? Next is thought journaling. Write down your thoughts and analyze them objectively. Look for patterns or cognitive distortions. Then engage in mindful meditation. This practice helps you observe your thoughts without judgment, increasing your metacognitive awareness. By developing metacognitive skills, you can identify and boost your learning and problem-solving abilities. Combining metacognition with mindfulness creates an effective all of these activities. It's my essential tools card deck. They are cards. Second strategy to build mental strength using metacognition and mindfulness. The first one was learning a new skill. The third strategy is to engage in activity. Brain training games is debated. Any activity that engages your mind can contribute to cognitive flexibility. In my last video on how thoughts strengthen your mind, I talked about the stress response and the cascade of brain chemicals that get activated when you feel threatened or stressed. You can use some of these techniques that I just discussed to turn down the dial on this response to improve your emotional resilience. So the message here is, understanding neuroplasticity empowers you to take an active role in shaping your brain and, by extension, your mental strength and resilience. Every thought, action, and experience has the potential to rewire your brain. By cultivating a growth mindset, I have for you is my Growth Mindset 20 by John Henry Newman. I love that statement. It's more than a calendar, though. It's 52 weeks of exercises or reminders related to that month's theme. For example, the theme for June is deeper connections. The quote for that month is, "A real friend is one who walks in when the rest of the world walks out," by Walter Winchell. The tip for week 26 is to practice active listening in your conversations this week. This is where you are giving the person your full attention, looking at them while they speak, and following up with questions. So often we talk while distracted, maybe while scrolling on social media, and that interaction lacks the real connection that it would if we were both fully locked into each other. In fact, I think we're so used to engaging in distracted interactions that the person talking may not even notice that you're not looking at them because they're also scrolling on their phone while they're talking to you. So there's lots of these weekly tips or exercises along with the affirming quotes for you to reflect on for each month. The quality of the paper is cardstock, so it will last a while. By harnessing the power of neuroplasticity, you can strengthen your mind, fortify your brain, and build the resilience that you need to thrive.
Let's see if the
In
heart
future
has the
videos,
function.
we'll go deeper into specific strategies for promoting neuroplasticity and building mental.
Neuroplasticity. Keep that in your head. Keep remembering that. How mental. Ooh.
Earn points on rent at any home with Bill.
See what my man's talking
Get
about.
rewarded every month on rent.
About a year before Maddox passed, my grandfather moved in with us. My wife Megan and I became his caregiver.
What is Dr.
Grandpa and Maddox were extremely close. Maddox would run in and sneak ice creams to Grandpa.
Anytime we'd come home from being gone, we'd come in and Maddox would, first thing he would do,
Grandpa walked out of his room and collapsed.
immediately we called 911. We were doing CPR with him. Yeah, the ambulance got here and rushed him to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, the doctor told us that Grandpa had passed. I believe my grandfather died of a broken heart.
Oh.
Well, I have Dr. John White here today. He's Chief Medical Officer of WebMD, and he's written a book called Take Control of Your Heart Disease Risk. And we're talking about something that doctors don't talk about very often because, frankly, it's complex and it takes time, and that's how mental health, of course, and having heart issues since losing their son, Maddox.
At this point, I'm really concerned for my wife, Megan.
With all the stress of losing our 5-year-old son,
Oh
Maddox,
my
I've been
Jesus.
struggling with anxiety and depression,
I'm sorry, y'all.
panic
Hold on. I might have
attacks.
to change
I've been
this one
having
out.
really bad chest pains, sometimes unbearable. My heart races. I just have this constant pain in my chest, and it just feels so heavy. My chest pains have been so bad, I've gone to the emergency room a couple times. But the crazy thing is the EKG doesn't show anything wrong. I feel like no one understands what it feels like to go
They
through
don't.
this grief. I just pray one day I can feel normal again, but I don't know when or if that can happen.
Right.
I don't even think it's possible.
I can imagine. Oh,
Megan, I think you're right. Normal the way you did before these losses that you've been through, certainly the Maddox loss. So that means that part of your life is of what you call normal is gone. So that means you have to create a new normal. And that new normal is with Maddox as a memory, Maddox as a relationship that you have that's spiritual, not physical, that you commit to keeping alive by talking about him and having pictures and talking about him at holidays and Christmas and around the table and making sure that the children never forget him and all of those things. It's a new normal.
We got to be there for our kids.
Right.
There's no other option.
You've got to find a way, and you've got to take care of yourself, and you've got to take care of yourself. And that can be done, right? But to do that, you've got to manage the emotions.
That's right. And self-care is probably the last thing that you want to talk about right now, to take care of yourself. And people forget that 12% of first heart attacks are fatal. People don't survive. So if you don't start trying to address the issues of depression and anxiety, that's going to increase your risk. One of the things that depression does that people don't talk enough about is it actually changes the way our platelets work. And platelets are good because they help with clotting, right? But when they clot at the wrong time, that's when people have a heart attack. And that's what I'm concerned about, the risk that you're having for yourselves, because you want to be around for your children. But if you don't start to take care of yourself, it's going to add up over time, as you and I have talked often about. It's those daily choices over time.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link
Not
in
right
the
now, Dr.
description and
Silver.
tell me what in the world is going on.
But I could possibly have one in the future.
Did you know that your heart has an incredible, unique intelligence unto itself? Or that it has a significant influence on our perceptions, emotional experiences, and higher mental processes? And did you know that the heart can actually sense your emotional response to an event before the event has occurred? You may have instinctively felt that the heart was so much more than a blood pump, but science has actually confirmed it. Researchers discovered that the heart has its own intrinsic nervous system that sends a lot of information to the brain, affecting the way we feel, think, and perceive. In fact, the heart actually sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. Scientists refer to this as the little brain in the heart. But don't let the diminutive name fool you. The heart-brain can act independently of the brain in your head. Its neurons have long-term and short-term memory and extensive sensory capacities. The heart and brain communicate with each other in a complex dance. As we experience emotions through the day, our heart rhythm patterns tend to reflect how we're feeling. This information is monitored by the emotional centers in the brain, where they are then perceived as feelings of fear, anger, fog, making it difficult to focus, remember things, listen deeply, and make clear decisions. However, on the upside, when we experience feelings like love, kindness, appreciation, or compassion, it creates a smooth, coherent heart rhythm pattern between the heart, brain, and hormonal system. This not only improves how we feel, but also our ability to think clearly. We can see creative solutions to problems and more easily discern intelligent choices and decisions. This is cortical facilitation. The good news is we don't have to wait until we happen to feel good to experience this uplift. We can choose to create it ourselves. Research shows that when we practice activating positive heart qualities, care, cooperation, forgiveness, etc., it has a carryover effect that increases the overall baseline of coherence in our system, so we have more resilience and self-security when challenges arise. For many free tips and techniques to increase your heart coherence, based on our 30 years of research on the subject, head to heartmath.org/resources to learn more.
That was good. Coherent heart. That's what we need. We need a coherent heart. Get it. Watch out. There we go. Heart math. Okay.
Now, hello, my name is Jackie Kukuska, and I'm a nurse educator with the Department of Nursing and Learning and Development. I'd like to walk through the quick coherence technique with you. So let's begin. Make yourself comfortable. You can practice this technique with your eyes opened or closed. Settle into your chair. Uncross your arms, uncross your legs. Release all the tension from your body, feeling fully supported. Now bring your attention and awareness to your heart. Focus on the center of your chest and simply notice your heart and the heart space around it. While continuing to focus on your heart, take some slow, easy, refreshing breaths. Breathing in and breathing out. Try to imagine your breath is coming in and out of your heart space. See it coming in, swirling around your heart, and then slowly going back out. feeling. Recall a time when you excitement, happiness, peacefulness, or gratitude. Try to relive that memory now. Really tap into the emotions you were experiencing. The key is to shift from your head to the emotion. Simply imagine you're back in time, reliving this moment. Continue heart-focused breathing in and out. And if your mind wanders, that's okay. Gently bring your attention back to your heart space. Breathe and recall your positive memory. When you're ready, slowly bring your attention back to the room. Open your eyes if they're closed, and try to hold on to the way you feel right now as you go about the rest of your day. By taking heart-focused breaths while recalling a positive emotion, you can begin to regulate your emotions in the moment to stop the drain that emotionally charged situations can have on your system, and instead begin adding energy to your system anytime, anywhere. Thank you.
Helping me get my heart rhythm and coherent.
Watch this before eating cheese.
Heart coherence is a healthy, high-performance state, physically, emotionally, and mentally, that brings out the very best in us. The broader term coherence always implies harmonious order, connectedness, stability, and efficient use of energy. It can be seen all around us when we observe life through the lens of the heart. The beauty and intricate balance of nature is a magnificent demonstration of coherence. Increased coherence happens at times within the human experience too. For example, most of us have had days where everything seemed to flow. We felt good, composed. Health Institute researchers identified a physiological state called heart coherence, a type of coherence that occurs when our body systems are in sync with each other. They also discovered heart coherence not only affected physical processes, but also our mental and emotional composure. Their research showed that heart coherence could be self-created, leading to less mental and emotional stress and more inner stability. In summary, heart coherence is a synchronized state, physically, emotionally, and mentally, that we can easily learn to bring into everyday life, allowing us to become our best selves.
Yes, sir. Hey, this is good. This episode today is good. I'm glad I can bring this episode of Expansion Pack to y'all front door.
When a person is living in stress and they're out of balance, their heart is always racing a little bit. And over time, people begin to condition their heart to race like that all the time. And if you keep creating that kind of incoherence in the heart, where it's no longer beating in a rhythmic fashion, the disintegration of the interference of those individual frequencies diminishes energy in the heart. And now we stop trusting ourselves. We stop trusting in our future. And the heart is the creative center. The heart represents the union of polarity, the union of duality, the union of opposites. This is where our divinity begins. If you can teach a person how to open their focus and begin to become nobody, no one, no thing, no where, and no time, and begin to open up into that blackness, that quantum field where there's nothing physical, and out of all the things they can put their attention on, Instead of putting it on their cell phone or their Facebook or their coworkers or their boss or their ex or the problems in their lives, they're taking all of their attention and placing it on their heart. And where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And in a sense, you are putting attention and giving your heart life, the very life force it needs. Next step is to slow your breath enough to and of course, if a person is aroused constantly, it's going to take some practice to begin to do this. And as you begin to breathe in and out of your heart, slower and deeper and more relaxed, as your breathing slows down, your brain waves slow down, and now the person now is starting to slip right into the autonomic nervous system and into the operating system. Now, let's trade the emotions of guilt, of shame, of unworthiness, of pain, of suffering, of anger, of fear, of hostility, of judgment, of envy, for heart-centered, elevated emotion. And as you breathe, give yourself permission to begin to feel gratitude, appreciation, begin to feel thankfulness, a love for life, a joy for existence, but doing that independent of any condition in your external environment. In other words, so many people are conditioned into believing they need a reason for gratitude. They need a reason for joy. They need a reason to feel love. They need something outside of them to create that emotion inside of them. And here we're doing the exact opposite. We're beginning to open our hearts and begin to put energy in there. And as we begin to breathe and feel these elevated emotions, all of a sudden the heart starts to become more coherent. And like dropping pebble in very still water, pebble after pebble after pebble in a very rhythmic fashion, all of a sudden, the heart begins to produce an ambient magnetic field that can be up to 3 meters wide. And now, like beating a great drum, frequency that's being created from the heart, that frequency can carry information. And now the person, once energy moves into their heart, they're in the perfect state to create in. In other words, once this creative center opens up, and once it begins to become more coherent, not only are you producing that magnetic field that's beginning to spread out from your body, you're becoming more energy and less matter, more wave and less particle. You'll begin to feel like you're connected to something greater. And when your heart is open, you're no longer experiencing lack, polarity, separation, or duality. You feel connected. Your body begins to believe when you train your heart that your future is actually happening in the present moment because you're experiencing the emotion of your future before it happens.
Thank you, Dr. Joe.
What you invest in your employees, they give back to you. So help them explore where their
What? What was that?
Quick coherence is a simple yet powerful technique that you can use to connect more deeply with your own heart and to connect more with the hearts of others. Let's try it together. First step is to focus your attention on the area of your heart. Just shift your focus to the area of your chest or heart and pretend like your breath is flowing in through the area of the heart or chest and out through the area of the heart. Breathe a little more slowly, a little more deeply than you normally do, maybe to a count of 5 in and 5 out, but find a smooth, easy rhythm. Let's do it. Focus breathing and make a sincere attempt to re-experience a positive or regenerative feeling, like the care or appreciation you have for someone or something in your life. It could be a pet, a time in nature, a special place, an accomplishment, but feel that genuine feeling of love you have for someone, or care or appreciation. Or just focus on a feeling of calm and ease as you continue the heart-focused breathing. Now Now this technique, quick coherence, is putting your heart rhythms into a more coherent mode, a coherent rhythm, and it has a carryover effect. So as you move into your next activities or connect with someone, you can feel more heart connected, more centered. You can do this simple 1-minute technique anytime, anywhere.
Good job. I appreciate that, lady. One more.
Why heart coherence matters. Whether you're looking for a sense of purpose, increasing your performance, reducing stress, or just feeling better, heart coherence can make a measurable difference in your life. Research has shown that when we are in a higher coherence, we experience more emotional balance, sharper mental focus, increased resilience, and less stressful emotions like anxiety and feeling and are often out of our control. The one thing we can control is our response to whatever comes our way. Taking a minute or two to increase heart coherence allows us to ease anxious thoughts and bring in a feeling of balanced calm. With increased coherence, we can respond from our best self. Many complex decisions require us to weigh out multiple options in order to choose the best direction. Learning to increase coherence opens the door to intelligence and discrimination needed when it matters most. Also, increasing heart coherence promotes wholeness healing. For example, a study published in Global points in people with high blood pressure. Many people also find that getting into heart coherence at the start of prayer, meditation, or mindfulness exercises helps them maintain a heartfelt focus that enhances their experience. In essence, shifting into the state of heart coherence provides important benefits for our mind, body, and emotion, helping us think better, feel better, and live better, leading to a new, expanded outlook on life.
What about the negative side that we should look out for, or the red flags when we're dating someone?
So let's go with heart and brain. That's cool.
We should care about how the heart and brain communicate, and the fact that the heart sends more information to the brain than the other way around, because the quality of the signals that the heart sends upstairs to our brain have profound effects on how well our brain works. When these signals are incoherent, as we call it, that literally inhibits what we call cortical function. It's why when we're emotionally upset, we make poor choices and often end up doing things that we regret later. Like, oh my God, where was my brain? I can't believe I said that or did that, which can harm our relationships and certainly our health. On the other hand, when we're able to be in a heart coherent state, the quality of the signals sent to the brain have a big influence on improving cognitive function. We make better choices. We have more clarity right in the moment that we especially need it.
We're gonna watch this.
The beat of the heart is with us from the beginning to the end of our life cycle. And yet, most of us have been introduced to their heart as just a 10-ounce muscle that pumps our blood and maintains its circulation until we die. Looked at biologically, the heart's efficiency is amazing. If we take care of our health, the heart can work without interruption for 100 years, without care or cleaning, without repair or replacement.
Wow.
But for everyone, too, the heart has another dimension, much more profound. We find this in popular expressions such as listen to your heart, follow your heart, put your heart into it, amongst many more. Religion, ethnicity, or education, cultures. Over thousands of years, ancient cultures across the planet, Mesopotamians, Egyptians, Babylonians, Chinese, and Greeks, shared a similar belief and knowledge about the heart as a source of intelligence and inner guidance. They perceived that the heart is capable of influencing and directing one's emotions, morality, said for thousands of years, is true. We now know the physical heart is an information processing center in the body, sending important signals to the brain and the rest of the body. It has a complex nervous system called the heart brain that talks to your head brain. It produces a powerful electromagnetic field that is imprinted by your emotions. Our heart influences everything from the way we feel to the way we interact with others, our brain function, and our health. Yes, your heart at a biological level is talking. The question is, are we listening? The heart's intelligence is not just physical. It encompasses some of the highest qualities we have as humans. Many of the highest quality feelings we experience are associated with the heart. They would include emotions like appreciation, care, love, kindness, patience, and compassion. Their transformational value is born from our energetic or spiritual heart, which affects the physical heart's information. The heart is also associated with a deeper source of wisdom, an intuitive knowingness that bypasses normal, logical, linear thought patterns. This is often called the voice in the heart, and known to support us with much better choices and direction throughout life's interactions. Our heart's intuition is the voice of our true, authentic self. When we're in connection with that part of ourselves, that's when we're able to move beyond our limitations and accomplish things that can surprise us.
Hold on, let me hear that again.
Our heart's intuition is the voice of our true, authentic self. When we're in connection with that part of ourselves, that's when we're able to move beyond our limitations and accomplish things that can surprise us.
The qualities of the heart are usually talked about in terms of the emotions that we feel. Love and care and compassion, appreciation, those type of emotional qualities are often associated with heart. But also there are others, like our nobility, dignity, honor, courage, kindness, patience. All those are what I call the qualities of the heart. And when like our nobility, dignity, honor, courage, kindness, patience, all those are what I call the qualities of the heart. And when we manifest those qualities in daily life, life treats us differently. It feeds back to us differently. And we put out those kind of qualities in our daily interactions, life is generally going to reward us in a completely different way.
To me, the most powerful quality of the heart is love itself. So if you could see an entire rainbow, and love was all the colors of that rainbow, you could break down every quality of the heart inside the color spectrum of that, whether it's care.
How we feel more than we may think. And so learning to connect with these heart qualities, activate them, nurture them, actually send different signals from the heart to the brain that change how we perceive and give us more ability to choose how we respond to situations that are best for ourselves and others.
The quality of the emotions we experience, things like compassion, appreciation, or gratitude, just feeling good, that the heart sends a very different type of signal to the brain than when we're feeling stressed.
You know, things like courage, dignity, honor, those are core heart qualities that help lift them. When I'm working with healthcare, compassion, care, kindness, those are heart qualities that equally lift one's nature. But you just have to be honest with what's meaningful to you.
So now we're starting to have a scientific understanding that these higher quality emotions that people have always associated with the heart really do affect the way the heart beats and the quality of the neural signals being sent to the brain, which it then interprets.
And so also about these amazing heart qualities that
That was good. Hold on, let me like that. And that. But
The beat of the heart is with us.
Wow, I didn't know that we would end up here. At this point. Let's just get another one.
And it made me go from weeks behind to weeks ahead of my deadlines. You see, I used to just bedrot all day getting nothing done. And you know that feeling of anxiety where ticking off
as you move into higher frequency, the world around you shifts to that frequency. As you move into higher dimension, the rental, that what you perceive in the reality around you is not material. It's a compelling belief that you have that actually forms the world around you. Your expectation becomes your reality, just like the double slit phenomenon. This is why double slit phenomenon does what it does. You have a unique light signature that is you, but you're not really that color. You think that you're the color that you are, but actually that's just reflection color. You have a whole nother spectrum of you that's the absorption. So let's take an example of hydrogen. This is what the spectral reflection of hydrogen looks like. So if you looked at, spectral analysis of hydrogen, it would have a color purple, another color that's more violet, and then kind of this bluish color, and then this light blue, and then this red pinkish color. That combination of colors is how we know hydrogen exists. So when we look into outer space and we use a telescope that does this spectroscopy, and we could see across space, that combination of colors is how we know hydrogen exists. So when we look into outer space and we use a telescope that does this spectroscopy, and we could see across the entire cosmos, we know where hydrogen pockets are, where there's a high preponderance of hydrogen based on the color reflections that come out. That's how we know what something is. We know that copper, like if you're looking at some material, you don't know what the material is, you can look at a spectral reflection analysis and be able to tell exactly what that material is just based on the colors that are reflected, the unique combination of colors that are reflected. Now, you understand that you have DNA. Your DNA is DNA identical to yours, even though you're 99% the same as a monkey. That 1% that makes you different makes you infinitely different. Inside that differentiation is what makes you. So that means that you have a persona, right, which would be these colors right here, your reflection, and then you have a shadow, which that shadow would be the exact opposite. So all the colors that are used for the reflection are not part of the absorption. That's why you have blacked out lines here. So that means you have all the rest of the colors in the light spectrum that are not you. Well, you perceive they're not you. Well, what if those colors simply tell exactly what that material is just based on the colors that are reflected, the unique combination of colors that are reflected. Now, you understand that you have DNA. Your DNA is a unique signature of you. There's never been another DNA like yours, and there never will be another DNA identical to yours, even though you're 99% the same as a monkey. That 1% that makes you different makes you infinitely different. Inside that differentiation is what makes you. So that means that you have a persona, right, which would be these colors right here, your reflection, and then you have a shadow, which that shadow would be the exact opposite. So all the colors that are used for the reflection are not part of the absorption. That's why you have blacked out lines here. So that means you have all the rest of the colors in the light spectrum that are not you. Well, you perceive they're not you. Well, what if those colors simply get projected back to you as reflection in the world around you? The mathematics of this is something called the Rydberg formula. And well, what if those colors simply get projected back to you as reflection in the world around you? The mathematics of this is something called the Rydberg formula. And Niels Bohr, who is a famous Danish physicist in the 1930s and 40s, who worked closely with Einstein, he was more on the quantum physics side of things. He basically found that you could exactly predict, based on the frequency of hydrogen, its spectral emission of color. And it was exactly accurate. And this is called the Bohr atom model. And the mathematics of it is simply x and 1 over x. So they used here lambda. So it's lambda and 1 over lambda. So you have this differentiation that would then tell you these specific nanometers of light would be converted directly from the spectral or frequency rather of hydrogen, which then I can derive to know exactly and predict exactly based on the frequency of hydrogen, based on its 1 over x calculation, what its nanometers of light signature will be. It's exactly these lights right these lines right here. So this is measured in nanometers. This is 400 nanometers, 500 nanometers, 600 nanometers. What we're really looking at is 1 octave of light. We have 89 octaves or 88 octaves of experience 600 nanometers.
Y'all don't do me like
The
that.
fact
They're gonna
is,
put a
we've
commercial
come here
there,
right now. Millions of us lightworkers have incarnated on this planet right now at the same time.
What we're really looking at is 1 octave of light. We have 89 octaves or 88 octaves of experience across sound, thought at the very basis, becomes sound, becomes microwave, it becomes infrared, becomes ultrasound. And then as it goes higher and higher, light is just the 55th octave above sound. So you just keep taking up to higher and higher octaves of frequency, and now you're in the terahertz frequencies. So what happens is you just go all the way up until the 55th octave. The 55th octave from the very beginning is light, and that's the only octave of visible spectrum. Beyond that are all the other octaves. Then you get into cosmic rays, gamma rays, etc., right? It goes X-rays, all that. So what happens is this visible light spectrum is the same as looking at a piano keyboard, and it's just the note G on the piano keyboard, middle G, because that's the 55th note on a piano keyboard, which is a Fibonacci number. So basically, you look at the piano keyboard, you've got the entire spectrum as a microcosm, right? Which then we can expand and just put lots and lots of 88 piano keyboards next to each other. And the 55th one is the one that yields light. And the other ones are not yielding light, but they're yielding different forms of sound that we have different sense microcosm. And that's the only octave of visible spectrum. Beyond that are all the other octaves. Then you get into cosmic rays, gamma rays, etc., right? It goes X-rays, all that. So what happens is this visible light spectrum is the same as looking at a piano keyboard, and it's just the note G on the piano keyboard, middle G, because that's the 55th note on a piano keyboard, which is a Fibonacci number. So basically, you look at the piano keyboard, you've got the entire spectrum as a microcosm, right? Which then we can expand and just put lots and lots of 88 piano keyboards next to each other. And the 55th one is the one that yields light. And the other ones are not yielding light, but they're yielding different forms of sound that we have different senses to be able to sense. And the ones we can't sense, we can sense through the pineal gland. A lot of people think that darkness is the absence of light. Darkness is not the absence of light. Darkness is the opposite condition of light. The opposite condition would be you've got forms of sound that we have different senses to be able to sense. And
my man, let me say this and like this before I go any further. He giving me all of the facts, all of them, not all of them.
The ones we can't sense, we can sense through the pineal gland. A lot of people think that darkness is the absence of a note on a piano keyboard, which is a Fibonacci number. So basically, you look at the piano keyboard, you've got the entire spectrum as a microcosm, right? Which then we can expand and just put lots and lots of 88 piano keyboards next to each other. And the 55th one is the one that yields light. And the other ones are not yielding light, but they're yielding different forms of sound that we have different senses to be able to sense. And the ones we can't sense, we can sense through the pineal gland. A lot of people think that darkness is the absence of light. Darkness is not the absence of light. Darkness is the opposite condition of light. The opposite condition would be you've got a field of little nodal points that are cubes. Each of these cubes has a little LED inside of it. Think of it like an LED. And there's an on excitation and an off excitation. So the opposite condition of light is the off excitation. Very, very high knowledge technology. What's happened is the pixels that you thought were you are not actually you. They're just reflecting the light signature of you. And as you move to another place, it's just like the wave transitioning. You move to another position, then a whole new set of pixels have been on excited is that there's a whole new set of pixels that are reflecting you. The only limitations that exist, therefore, are the ones that you persistently believe in, including time. The world around you is just your spectral absorption being reflected back to you, and your X, and the world around you is your 1 over X. That's why I call it the U inverse. This is where it goes to your spectral absorption being reflected back to you, and your X, and the world around you is your 1 over X. That's why I call it the U inverse. This is where it goes to Hermeticism. The first principle of the 7 Hermetic principles is mentalism. Mentalism means the entire universe is mental. It's not material. You have to realize the entire universe is mental, that what you perceive in the reality around you is not material. It's a compelling belief that you have that actually forms the world around you. Your expectation becomes your reality, just like the double slit phenomenon. This is why double slit phenomenon does what it does, you know, in one context, and it works retrocausally even. So that means that, you know, and just like the double slit phenomenon, this is why double slit phenomenon does what it does, you know, in one context, and it works retrocausally even. So that means that if a photon of light is either going to be a wave or a particle, and its dependence on whether it'll be a wave or a particle is going to be dependent on whether or not it will be observed. It will even know before it's observed if it's going to be observed. And retrocausally, it will know, even if you didn't observe it, that you might observe it later on. And so it will act as a particle, because there is no such thing as linear time as we construct it. That's just an illusion. I don't believe that there's a different universe for every decision point we made, that you can jump into different decision points. I'm not of that. What I do believe, though, is that what is explicable from the perspective of Mandela effect, which is when a group of people have a memory of something that didn't really happen, like millions of people, like people remember Nelson Mandela's death in the 1980s. It never happened. I mean, he died in the 2000s something. He didn't die in the 80s, but people remember watching his funeral. They remember watching it for hours and mourning it and everything, like millions of people. Well, as you move into higher frequency,
if you're thinking about buying or selling a house, anywhere in or around Charlotte metro area, including the blue area.
Perspective. So that also creates changes retrocausally, so that throughout time, you literally live in what people refer to as a different timeline. Things change. Things that you might remember from the past, now you look them up, like Luke, I am your father, which was the famous line, right? He didn't really say that. Go back and look. You know, I remember growing up with Jiffy peanut butter. There's no Jiffy peanut butter. There's Jif. These very slightly different nuanced things that I remember so strongly, like Febreze, stuff you put with the drying, you know, it's not spelled the way that we thought, or the Flintstones, right? It's all these things are retrocausally changed. As you move into higher dimension, your past, present, and future now reflects the new frequency that you're at, and things that were not part of that frequency, little aspects of it start to dissolve in the past and in the future. So it's not that I'm jumping through different timelines per se, because in one lifetime I decided to be with one woman, in another circumstance I decided in the same lifetime to be with a different one, and so I could jump into a different lifetime if it didn't work out for me one way or another. No, I don't believe that. What I believe is that as we raise consciousness, the reality around us through all dimensions of time also changes. It's a mind blower. No matter how you look at it, I can go through the detail, right, of, okay, here's what you do. But I think throughout time, when people come to this understanding, they don't explain in the end all the scientific methods that they derived it and how their perception shifted. What they say is the result of it, which is, yes, now science is actually parroting exactly that. But what they do say is that it's all about the transcendence of judgment, the transcendence of duality. This notion of looking at the world as being either good or evil. It's realizing also that the things that we judge negatively are the things that we attract in our lives over and over again. We literally become a hammer that's seeking a nail of our own self-validation, own game experience. All of it for the benefit of your own conscious expansion. And to realize and remember who we are. Again, so that the things that we judge negatively are the things that we attract in our lives over and over again. We literally become a hammer that's seeking a nail of our own self-validation of being a light worker, right? The thing that's going to fight the bad thing. When all along, maybe you're the designer of your own game experience. All of it for the benefit of your own conscious expansion. And to realize and remember who we are. And also to realize that the reason we're here is not to learn more judgments, but rather we're here to learn how to love. We're here to learn how to love and how to receive love, because that's really what happens. When we look at ourselves, the things we don't like about ourselves start projecting over and over and over again in the world around us, because those aspects of the higher self, of us, of the self, the full self, when you are in your complete authentic nature, combining both the part of you that you want the world to see in one light. Like I had my LinkedIn on one aspect, and then I had my Instagram on another. When you finally combine and become the authentic you, and you fall in love with your experience, that's when you become enlightened. Because then you fall in love with everything around you as well. It's a love fest. Even when bad things happen to you, you realize, well, wait a minute. Throughout time, what I thought was a bad thing that happened to me actually turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me. So time has this aspect of polarity. And it's just like music, if you know musical interval. So I could play a note, C, and then go to E, and that's one of the most beautiful chords in music. It's called a major third. But it's inverse, and most people, when they hear a major third, which is just da, da, and often you'll hear people, one of the most beautiful, time has this aspect of polarity. And it's just like music, if you know musical interval. So I could play a note, and most people, when they hear a major third, which is just da, da, and often you'll hear it with a perfect fifth, da, 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 right? And you play all three together on a piano, sounds great, fabulous. Whoa, it's like love, it's awesome. But if you play them backwards, if you go in a descending arc on that, so I just played an ascending by going da, da, da. If I do a descending arc of that and inverse the order of it, so it becomes, instead of C to E, it goes from E to C, and it's going down, that becomes a minor sixth. A minor sixth is negative. People, when they listen to that, they're like, "Ooh, that sounds like heartbreak." So isn't that interesting? That chords of music, one direction through time, because the only difference in music could be like a time tracker, is that I played sounds like heartbreak, a minor from E to C, and it's going down. That becomes a minor from E to C, and it's going down. That becomes a minor sixth. A minor sixth is negative. People, when they listen to that, they're like, "Ooh, that sounds like heartbreak." So isn't that interesting? That chords of music, one direction through time, because the only difference in music could be like a time tracker, is that I play the order different. But the same two notes that I play in the descending order through time, and it turns from joy and love to sadness and heartbreak.
ECPI was...
What it says is that the experience we have of love houses and embeds the seed, chords of music. And what I'm going to tell you about the pyramids is that there are chords in music, right? The major third that I just told you is 5/4 relationship. It's 1.25, 5 divided by 4. It's simple. So if you take the Hertz frequency of a C note, multiply by 1.25, you're going to get an E note in Pythagorean tuning. It's perfect. Now, if we take the inverse of these and we start looking at all of these different relationships, a perfect fifth would be da, da, da. So that's the first and the third note. So it's da, da, da. That's a perfect fifth. Perfect fifth means stability. It's stability. You feel secure, stable, safe. That is a relationship of 3/2. And then the sound that we have when Darth Vader enters the room is what I already did. Dun, 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 dun. That is a diminished fifth, which is like the most terrible sound of music because it always makes you feel like a villain just entered. It's a reframe on everything in your life because of music. Because that is a diminished fifth, which is like the most terrible sound of music because it always makes you feel like a villain just entered. It's a reframe on everything in your life because now everything that happens to you isn't happening to you. You chose it. So stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, why did I choose it? And if you're an athlete, you're not going to go into a sport where you're not going to be challenged.
Okay.
You're going to go into a sport that's going to tear the muscle. You're going to go into an area where you're going to be challenged because that's the most fun. When you finish that game or that sport, you're like, whoa, that was tough, but I did it. So
Right.
you cannot assume how everyone would assume to come into this world and what they would assume that they would want to experience. Now, Helen Keller is a good example of this. She was deaf and blind and a paraplegic. And yet
Helen
she came
Keller
up with
on our
profound
episode.
quotes that impacted the world over, tens of millions of people, by saying the only thing worse than blindness is to have sight without vision. And I was thinking, what would it be like if I couldn't hear? What would be worse than not being able to hear? And I was thinking about Beethoven, who sawed the legs off his piano so he could write through vibrations the Ninth Symphony, which is one of my favorite symphonies. And I thought, well, the only thing really worse than deafness is probably to be able to hear without empathy. I think that's what the world is missing. So what I've tried to do is share my story and my experience. And to me, it's been a beautiful journey. And it has helped me to reconcile all the things that have been in my life I thought were irreconcilable. But sharing it has been powerful because I know I'm just sharing it with the world around me. And it has increased also my empathy towards other people's condition and what they are experiencing, because I don't believe I'm here to judge. I believe I'm here to learn to love and learn how to receive love. And that's what's important.
Ladies, how come we're taught to get a 9-to-5, but nobody taught us about the secret 5 to 9 strategy that actually creates time and financial freedom? If you swap your 9-to-5 for a 5 to
I'm gonna let my man do his thing.
Over time, this I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is PsycHacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is how to love yourself. Loving yourself is extremely important. And this is because wherever you go, there you are. What does that mean? Everything that you experience within your consciousness. It's not possible for cruel and self-loathing, even if the other contents of your consciousness are the most pleasant and delightful possible. That cruel, self-loathing self will permeate these other contents and spoil whatever goodness, pleasure, or happiness you might otherwise have experienced. By the same token, a self that is clean and loved will make it much easier to experience even unpleasant, painful, and difficult content without suffering. In this way, attending exclusively to your external circumstances without paying attention to your internal environment is likely to prove self-defeating. Consequently, we need to learn how to love ourselves so that wherever we go, we can be assured of good company.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you were raised in a securely attached, loving family, this will likely be easier for you to do than if you were raised in a chaotic and conflict-ridden environment. However, no matter your circumstances, I'm here to give you 3 actionable things that you can start doing today in order to accelerate your progress in the direction of self-love. Here we go. First and foremost, make a commitment starting now not to speak to yourself in a way that you wouldn't speak to a close friend. Though I've been a therapist for over 10 years, I am still shocked from time to time at just how negatively some people speak to themselves. Every mistake they make is painfully amplified, and everything they do well is grossly minimized by this horribly negative, critical inner voice. So the first step to loving yourself is to stop speaking to yourself in that way. If you wouldn't say something out loud to someone that you cared about, then don't say it to yourself. Even if you don't care about yourself yet, you have to begin to act time. It's so much easier to hate them. This is like an initial step in all totalitarian regimes towards pogroms and genocide. To justify the violence against a hated group, you must first denigrate them. If the denigration does not occur, it's much harder to see the targets as inhuman. Self-denigration justifies self-hatred and self-violence of all kinds. So stop doing it now. Now, how do you respond to your critical inner voice when it invariably arises? Well, that's not true. Or, hey, we don't talk to ourselves that way anymore. And then you replace that thought with the least pathologizing interpretation of reality that still fits the facts of the case. This could look something like, no, it's not true that I'm a complete piece of shit. I just suffered a setback, and I'm going to continue to work through this difficult moment. Or, no, I'm not unworthy of love. If one person isn't interested in a relationship with me, that doesn't mean someone else won't be. Something like that. Now, before I go any further, if you're liking what you're hearing, please consider sending this video to someone who might benefit from its message, because it's word of mouth referrals like this that really help to make the channel grow. And you can also hit the super thanks button. It's in those 3 little dots in the lower right-hand corner beneath the video, and tip me in proportion to the value you feel you derived from this episode. I really appreciate your support. It makes all this happen.
Squarespace's creative tools
let you design a unique, engaging website that fits your personal style and professional needs. Start your free web
Of Expansion Pack. I'm y'all host, Dan F. Man. We're gonna get up out of here for the day. Let y'all see me one more time before we go. Let's go. Maybe I'll let y'all see the game instead. Y'all see these last couple seconds. Give me that. Game time. All right, that was another episode of Expansion Pack, and that's me right here that you're seeing, your host, Dan F. Man. I'm going to get on up out of here. Hey, I hope y'all learned a little bit of something about coherence today, because I really did myself, and having a healthy mental starts with getting everything lined up and in order. Until tomorrow, Fun Friday. This is DGTA TV. I'm going to let y'all. Peace.
An unresentful future. Why can't you stay organized?
I've experienced this myself, and it's called...
Is the biggest one. All right. Let's get this last one.
We can spend a lot of time in relationships to which we are all suddenly end, but perhaps less time asking the more salient question: what can I do to help this valued relationship endure? We can fall into an error of seeing love as a passive, mysterious gift that we are in no position to generate, direct, or guarantee, rather than conceiving of it as an emotion that, for the most part, flows fairly logically, steadily, and naturally on from things that we are in a position either to do or not to do. And, to come to the central thesis, love tends to be a consequence of a partner feeling cared for and heard in the way that they have almost certainly frequently signalled to us that they need to feel in order to be inwardly assured that they are in safe and tender hands. To hazard a generalization, most people tend to signal their emotional requirements pretty directly, if we are in the mood to listen. In other words, there is much we can choose to do or not to do right now, today, in order to weaken or strengthen our loves. We are, for the most part, active as a predictable reward rather than a random benediction. There are surely cases where people are keen to maintain a relationship, but are then left for no reason that they could ever have guessed at or influenced, normally by people deeply and secretly ambivalent around the terrors of commitment. But in the end, there are probably not so many of those around. To maintain love, we need more than anything to follow a few simple-sounding rules that can nevertheless be